Why evil spirit or demonic entity poses people in Old Testament is lesser compared to the New Testament. It is because there was a direct confrontation between the kingdom of Yahuwah and the kingdom of Satan. While in the Old Testament people have lacked knowledge to determine and to confront evil spirit of demonic entity, this video is for reference purposes only. I highly encourage everyone to read the scriptures and the apostolic writings for much better understanding. What are the difference between the Old Testament and the New Testament regarding evil spirits, demonic possession, and the kingdom of Satan according to the preserved scriptures? This observation has a scriptural basis, but it requires an important qualification. The scriptures do show a much greater number of explicit demonic possession accounts during the earthly ministry of Yahusha than during the Old Testament. However, the scriptures do not state that demons were absent before. Rather, they reveal that the arrival of the Messiah marked a unique period of open conflict between the kingdom of Yahweh and the kingdom of Satan. The Old Testament focuses more on covenant faithfulness than on demonic possession. The primary emphasis of the Old Testament is obedience or rebellion against Yahweh, idolatry, covenant blessings and curses, false prophets, witchcraft, divination, and necromancy. Israel was warned not to seek spirits. Deuteronomy 18 verse 10 to 12. Let no one be found among you who makes his son or his daughter pass through the fire, or one who practices divination, or a user of magic, or one who interprets omens, or a sorcerer, or one who conjures spells, or a medium, or a spiritist, or one who calls up the dead. For whoever does these is an abomination to Yahuwah, and because of these abominations, Yahuwah, your Elohim, drives them out from before you. Leviticus 19 verse 31. Do not turn to mediums, and do not seek after spiritists to be defiled by them. I am Yahuwah, your Elohim. The scriptures show that evil spirits existed, but the emphasis was on avoiding them rather than describing many possession cases. Evil spirits were already active in the Old Testament. The Old Testament does record evil spirit activity. An evil spirit tormented Shaul. 1 Samuel 16 verse 14. And the spirit of Yahuwah turned aside from Shaul, and an evil spirit from Yahuwah troubled him. A lying spirit. 1 Kings 22 verse 19 to 23. Then he said, Therefore hear the word of Yahuwah. I saw Yahuwah sitting on his throne, and all the host of the heavens standing by him, on his right and on his left. And Yahuwah said, Who shall entice Ahab to go up and fall at Ramoth Gilead? And this one said this, and another said that. And a spirit came forward and stood before Yahuwah, and said, Let me entice him. Satan appears before Yahuwah to accuse Job. Job chapter 1 and 2. Job was a righteous man who feared Yahuwah, obeyed his commands, and was greatly blessed. In the heavenly assembly, Satan challenged Job's faithfulness, claiming that Job served Yahuwah only because of his blessings. Yahuwah allowed Job to be tested within set limits. In a short time, Job lost his wealth, his servants, and all of his children. Later, he was struck with painful sores over his entire body. Even his wife urged him to turn against Yahuwah, but Job remained faithful and refused to sin with his words. 3 friends came to comfort Job and sat with him in silence for 7 days, preparing the way for the discussions that follow. The main message of the book of Job reveals that not all suffering is a punishment for sin. Yahuwah may allow tests for purposes that are not yet known to humanity. True faith is demonstrated by remaining loyal to Yahuwah in both times of blessing and times of suffering. Satan stood against David. 1 Chronicles 21 verse 1. And Satan stood up against Yasharal and moved David to number Yasharal. These passages show that the kingdom of darkness was already operating. Why does the New Testament record many more demonic possessions? The arrival of Yahusha brought the kingdom of Yahuwah into direct confrontation with the kingdom of Satan. Yahusha declared, Mark 1 verse 15, and saying, The time has been filled, and the reign of Elohim has come near. Repent and believe in the good news. The king had arrived. Satan's kingdom responded. The demons recognized Yahusha immediately. The demons knew who he was. Mark 1 verse 23 to 24. And there was a man in their congregation with an unclean spirit, and he cried out, saying, What have we to do with you, Yahusha of Nazareth? Did you come to destroy us? I know who you are, the set-apart one of Elohim. Mark 3 verse 11. And the unclean spirits, whenever they saw him, fell down before him and cried out, saying, You are the son of Elohim. Luke 4 verse 41. And also demons were coming out of many, crying out and saying, "You are the Messiah, the son of Elohim." And rebuking them, he did not allow them to speak, for they knew that he was the Messiah. This shows a unique escalation of spiritual conflict. Yahusha explained that his exorcisms were evidence that the kingdom had arrived. Matthew 12 verse 28. "But if I cast out demons by the Spirit of Elohim, then the reign of Elohim has come upon you." Every demon cast out was a public declaration that Satan's authority was being overthrown. Yahusha came to destroy the works of the devil. 1 John 3 verse 8. "The one doing sin is of the devil, because the devil has sinned from the beginning. For this purpose the Son of Elohim was manifested, to destroy the works of the devil." This is why the Gospels record so many exorcisms. Yahusha described his mission as binding the strong man. Matthew 12 verse 29. "Or how is one able to enter a strong man's house and plunder his goods, unless he first binds the strong man, and then he shall plunder his house?" Satan is the strong being. The people held under his power were being set free. The disciples also received authority over unclean spirits. Matthew 10 verse 1. "And having called his 12 taught ones near, he gave them authority over unclean spirits, to cast them out and to heal every disease and every bodily weakness." Luke 10 verse 17 verse 20. "And the 70 returned with joy, saying, Master, even the demons are subject to us in your name. And he said to them, I saw Satan falling out of the heaven as lightning. See, I give you the authority to trample on serpents and scorpions, and over all the power of the enemy, and none at all shall hurt you. But do not rejoice in this, that the spirits are subject to you, but rather rejoice because your names have been written in the heavens." This was a sign of the advancing kingdom. The Old Testament had less revelation about demonic activity. The Old Testament acknowledges Satan, evil spirits, and idols associated with demons. Deuteronomy 32 verse 17. "They slaughtered to demons, not Aluah, mighty ones they did not know, new ones who came lately, which your fathers did not fear." Psalm 106 verse 37, "And they slaughtered their sons and their daughters to demons." But it does not focus on detailed accounts of possession as the Gospels do. The New Testament reveals the invisible war more clearly. Ephesians 6 verse 12. "Because we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against authorities, against the world rulers of the darkness of this age, against spiritual matters of wickedness in the heavenlies." The spiritual battle is made explicit. People in the Old Testament had less revelation about demonic possession. The scriptures do not say they had no knowledge, but they had less progressive revelation about the nature of demonic possession and exorcism. The Torah taught them to reject idols, reject occult practices, reject necromancy, remain covenantally faithful to Yahuwah. They were not given a ministry of casting out demons as seen during Yahusha's earthly ministry, the deepest scriptural connection. The greater number of demonic possession accounts in the New Testament does not necessarily mean there were more demons than in the Old Testament. It reveals that the Messiah had arrived. The kingdom of Yahuwah was breaking into history. Satan's kingdom was being openly challenged. Demons reacted to the presence and authority of Yahusha. Every exorcism was a sign that the promised king was defeating the powers of darkness. From Genesis to Malachi, the emphasis is on Yasharal's covenant faithfulness, idolatry, and the rejection of occult practices. From the Gospels onward, the scriptures unveil the spiritual conflict more openly because the Messiah has come to destroy the works of the devil, announce the kingdom of Yahuwah, and set free those who were held captive under the power of Satan. This understanding fits the overall progression of revelation across the preserved scriptures, while recognizing that evil spirits were present and active in both testaments. Thank you for watching and see you on my next video. May Yahuwah baruch us and guide us. Shalom and have a great Yom.